All right, so today we're going to dive into something pretty wild, even for us. Get this, high school drama, but with a soul-swapping twist. Yeah, you heard that right. Gangsters, teenagers, and some seriously deep questions about life all mixed up in this one.
I know, right? It's like we've all heard of body swap stories, but this one takes it to a whole new level. You're going to see two worlds collide that you'd never expect.
Exactly. So picture this. The video starts off, right, and there's this high school kid, lawn high. Some bullies, they kind of splash him with water, just trying to be jerks. Now, most kids would just walk away, right? But not lawn high. He turns around and demands an apology. And there's this, like, intensity in his eyes that's just, well, it's kind of scary, to be honest.
Yeah, you get this feeling right off the bat that something's not quite right. This isn't your typical high school drama. Like something bigger is going on here.
And that's when, bam, flashback. We meet Deba, this, like, hardcore gangster. He sees a student about to jump off a bridge, the classic suicide scene. But Deba, he steps in, saves the kid, and then wakes up in a hospital bed, looking right at the face of the student he just saved.
Talk about a twist. And that's where it gets really interesting, right? Because now you've got this tough gangster stuck in the body of a teenager.
It makes you think, what would any of us do in that kind of situation?
Exactly. Like, how would you even begin to explain that to anyone?
Yeah, and that's the thing. He can't. So here he is, trying to navigate high school, but it's not the homework he's worried about. He sees his old gang members, and they don't even recognize him.
And this is where I think the story gets really clever. Because it would have been easy to just make it a silly comedy, right? Like, haha, a gangster in a classroom. But this video, it actually goes deeper than that. It makes you think about identity, about second chances,
That's it. He's being forced to confront this life he left behind, this life he could have had if things were different. And he's doing it in the most unexpected way possible. And it's not like, he can just go around telling everyone, hey, I'm actually a big-time gangster, I swear.
Like, who'd believe that, right?
Exactly. So he's stuck trying to figure out how to undo this whole body swap thing, even tries to recreate that jump from the bridge, thinking maybe that'll do it. But, fate has a funny way of intervening sometimes.
I was just thinking that. It's like almost like destiny had this whole thing planned out. Like Deba was meant to save that student, but in doing so, he ended up saving a part of himself too,
Whoa, that's deep. And speaking of deep, things get even more intense when Deba stumbles upon Lan Hai's diary. And let me tell you, this isn't your average teenage ramblings.
Oh, no, not at all. This diary, it's like a window into this whole other world, You see the pain, the loneliness, the struggles that Lan Hai was hiding behind this facade of, well, everything. Because let's be honest, he had it all money, a nice house, but...
Yeah, but it wasn't enough. And that's what really hit me, seeing that contrast between Lan Hai's outward life and what was going on inside.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about those assumptions we make about people, We see the fancy clothes, the big house, and we think, oh, they've got it made. But sometimes it's the people who seem to have it all who are hurting the most.
Absolutely. It's a good reminder that, everyone's fighting their own battles, even if we can't see them.
For sure. And I think that's where we really start to see DeBear change. Because, let's face it, he could have just breezed through Lan Hai's life, enjoying the good stuff, ignoring the pain. But he doesn't. He finds that diary, and it's like something clicks for him.
I see it as like the power of empathy, right? Here's Deba, this tough guy who's built these walls around himself. And suddenly he's connecting with the vulnerability of this teenager. He's seeing the world through Lan Hai's eyes.
Exactly. And that changes everything. He starts with the outside,
Yeah.
Ditches the baggy clothes, gets a haircut, even starts taking care of himself.
It's like a symbol, right? He's not just changing his clothes, he's shedding that old skin, that old Deba, the gangster.
Like he's making a promise to Lan Hai to honor his life by actually living, really living.
And it goes even deeper than that, right? He starts studying, really studying, something he probably never thought he'd do.
I know. It's like Deba, the high school dropout, is suddenly fascinated by textbooks. Who would have thought?
It shows you how powerful education can be, How it can open up these whole new worlds, even for someone with Deba's past.
And the best part? He doesn't stop there. Remember those billies, the ones who made Lan Hai's life miserable? Yeah, they try to mess with Deba, thinking it's still the same old Lan Hai. Big mistake.
Oh, man, that's got to be satisfying to watch.
Right. It's like this awesome role reversal. Deba, who used to use his fists to solve problems, is now using his strength to protect someone else.
It's almost like through Lanhai, he's finally facing those demons from his past,
Yeah,
breaking that cycle of violence.
totally. And you can imagine the reactions, right?
Yeah.
The other kids in school, even the teachers, and all like, who is this kid?
It really makes you think, Like, what if we treated everyone with that kind of open mind, that kind of second chance? Who knows what kind of transformations we might see?
That's a powerful thought. And honestly, it's something that stuck with me, even after watching this whole video.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, Deba is living this double life, right? This secret that he can't tell anyone.
And that open ending, I think, is what makes it so brilliant.
Totally agree. Because it makes you ask, what happens next?
Mm.
Does he ever figure out how to switch back? Does he tell anyone the truth?
It's not about tying everything up in a neat little bow. It's about making you think, making you question.
Absolutely. And this whole deep dive, it's been more than just, breaking down a video. It's got us thinking about redemption, about second chances, about what it really means to live a meaningful life.
It really shows you the power of a good story, how it can take something like a body swap and turn it into this reflection on what it means to be human.
For sure. It makes you look at your own life, your own choices in a whole new light. And I got to ask, if you suddenly found yourself living someone else's life, what would you do? It's a question worth pondering, don't you think?